We do apologise sincerely about that technical breakup. FC have managed to sort it out, and of course we are back. So we did have a little look for Hosanna, but we have heard that there is a very high chance of lions nearby on the scent of buffalo. So because we don't actually have a location on Hosanna, we're just going by on something that happened quite a while ago. We're going to check out the lions now, see what happens there, and then maybe when we get more light, we're still in that sort of morning sunrise haze, then we can of course keep checking for Hosanna. So now we're just going to check out all these alarm calls and tracks of the lions. We almost got a lion on a buffalo yesterday. So someone is speaking to me on the Game Drive radio, so I'm just going to turn that down. So yes, let's go and try and see if we can see the lions. Oh, it seems like a lot of big cats are around today, so it might be that kind of morning. But the baboons have been alarm calling for quite some time now. Now, you know, when baboons alarm call, they can see very far. So it's best not to always go where they are, but when they alarm call, you know it's something big going nearby. So that's our mission for today. But for now, let's go all the way up to the Masai Mara to see what Isaac's mission is for today.
Hello and good morning. It's me again, Isaac over here, and on camera today I have Big James, and we're ready far and out. Apologies about the little technical hit that we just had, but welcome to SafariLive. We're quite away from camp. I'm about 30 kilometers already. I'm trying to be as fast as possible to see what I can find for you. My aim this morning is to get to the crossing and see what's happening there. Definitely there's no crossing at this time of the year, but there might be different animals around there. I haven't been there for quite a while, and my main aim is to get there. It's rather chilly here. It's 17 degrees Celsius and about 63 Fahrenheit, but it's a lovely morning. On my way here, I've seen some impala, buffalo, hippo. Those are the only ones, and I'm hoping to find more stuff. Stephanie, you asked if I can show you rhino this morning. Well, I'm in rhino country. What can I say? I'm hoping to show you as much as possible, and even your rhino. But don't take my word for it. I'm going to try my best. I hope you're good this morning, Stephanie, and you're ready on this beautiful morning. Apart from the rhino, I'm sure you'll enjoy, you know, some of the other animals. So sit back and enjoy yourself. And remember to ask us as many questions as possible. Make us, you know, entertain you as much as possible. This is the road, the last corner that takes me to Serena Crossing. Whoever knows this area and where we live will know where exactly I am. And this is where the famous crossings happened during the migration. If you look on the map of Masai Mara, you'll see where they have the arrows where the wildebeest cross. Tanzania is off to my right, and home is off to my left. It's still dark, and we're on infrared. Every now and then I have to use my spotlight to try and see if I can find something. But so far, I haven't stopped because I haven't found anything. But there's been some lion roars not far from here, and maybe we might find them. I don't know which pride it is, but I might find them. And together with the rhino, here I'm hoping to find some hippo, elephant, buffalo. This is a good area for them. There is plenty of food of them. It's still quite cool for the hippos to be out. Yes, yeah, you never know what I'm gonna find. Maybe some hippos and crocodiles by the river. And while I do that, I'll link you down all the way to Greta Kruger to find out what Steve, my colleague down there, is doing.
Well, welcome back, everybody. We were following up on those baboons, and we didn't find anything in the immediate vicinity. The lion tracks were very fresh, and we found the lion tracks all the way up to the kill site. Look at all those claw marks. Now, what has happened, I do believe, is a lion has managed to climb this tree and has stolen Tingana's prize. Very, very sad indeed, folks. Well, we're going to go now find those lions and just go track them. Just on the road when I came in, there was a lion tracker going back down south. So there's a very good chance that this rotten, smelly carcass in this very nice Maruda tree has been stolen. I'm just going to get out and show you those marks again. You see this over here. Beautiful claw marks of a lion climbing all the way up. They're not the best climbers in the world. They do have protractile claws, which gives them the ability, and this is not the most difficult tree to do so. So the kill was just on the branches here. Apparently, after we left last night, Tingana did come back, and he did reposition the carcass in a tree, but it's not the most inaccessible tree, to be honest, for a lion. So, anyway... Giraffe girl, it could very well be a tree-hugging lion. Well, for now, it's a scavenging lion doing what they do best. They have stolen the food from... Oh, see, look at the sides here. All those claw marks. Can you see that, BK? The lion, more than one of them has probably gone up here. Look at all those scuff marks. So I don't know how many exactly. It might have been one coming up and going down, but... there's definitely the signs of a bit of a mess. And poor Tingana, who probably even stole the kill from Tundi. Tundi was on the scene pretty much after we left last night. So maybe she got some of the food. Maybe she didn't. Well, it seems like everybody has lost out today. And what promised to be a really exciting morning for me of spending time with maybe 2 leopards has turned out to be a lion affair. So let's go track these lions, shall we, BK? Yes, BK is keen. Are you all keen, folks? Tingana could be anywhere now. He could have been the reason the baboons were shouting. So the tracks went straight back across towards where we had the baboon. Oh, sorry, BK. Watch out. There's a bit of hole in the ground there. Back towards where... excuse me. Where we had the baboons shouting. So there was a herd of buffalo in the centre of Djuma yesterday, and there's a good chance that they've started following them, because here are lion tracks, hyena tracks, lion tracks. There we go. There was a lion lying right down over there, probably after stealing his food. You can see the scuff mark in the ground. There's the track over there. Okay, there we go. Very easy to see. Okay, so anyway, while we try and make head of tail of where these lions have gone to, let's go back up to Isaac in the Masai Mara.
Here I am, and I have found my first animal of the day. It's a limping hippo. He's over there, and he's turned around. I don't know what actually injured him, but he has stopped. He's quite a distance off to my right. James is gonna show you. He's there. You can tell he's got a limp. I don't know, what gave him the injury. You see that? Yes, I don't know what injured him, but looks like he's headed towards the water. This is time of day when they go back. Remember, it's very early over here. It's only about 20 minutes past 6. It's very early in the morning. There is a lion lowering. I don't know if you can hear it. I do have a lion not very far from where I am, and I don't know if I'll be able to find him. Okay, yes, I'm gonna try and reposition again because this guy is gonna get into the water, and maybe I'll show you when he's getting into the water from a different angle. This injury that he's got, maybe he got it from a fight. Males fight each other for mating rights and also dominating the pods. A collection of hippos is called pod, so it's a pod of hippos, and sometimes they fight to dominate a section of the river, and this could have been the case because otherwise nothing else would injure a hippo unless it's a young one. A young one would be injured by lots of things, but a fully grown one, only another male. Secure. Hold on. It's a bit bumpy here. Yeah, very wet. I'm dancing all over. Yeah. I don't know if I'll be able to see him get into the water, but this is where he gets into the water. I can't see him anymore, but we are at the Mara River now. This is the famous Mara River. Yeah, I think we're gonna link you back to Jamie, who is on foot with some elephants, which could be rather interesting. Then you're gonna come back to me over here. So all the way down to Jamie.
Good morning, and what a spectacular start to the bushwalk section of our sunrise safari. Sitting with this beautiful, gentle giant out in the open area of quarantine clearings, which is right outside camp. My name is Jamie. This morning, Sebastian is on camera with me, and we are, of course, out with the wonderful Herbie as well. And we are watching this bull elephant from a very nice, safe distance here, close to the camp itself. And of course, that's one of the reasons why this elephant is so relaxed with us here. He's sort of aware that there's people around. I don't think he's pinpointed us, but he is aware that there are people. Okie dokie, if he behaves, I think let's try and draw in some viewers very briefly. I think it'll be quite a short one because he's going to move away from us, and we're not going to follow him too far as we are on a mission this morning. Stay, boy. Stay. Good morning, and welcome to a truly beautiful scene out here in Djuma Private Game Reserve, which is in the Greater Kruger National Park area of South Africa, where I am sitting probably, I would say, around about 70 or so meters away from a big male elephant. Now, my name is Jamie, and this morning Sebastian is behind the camera, and we are out on foot, which is one of my favorite ways to experience the African wilderness, because you get to share in moments just like this, and you're actually watching it happen right now live on your screens, which means that you can send through questions, and you can do that in the comments section below. Now, just to explain a little bit about this is a wild elephant, and as such we treat it with as much caution as possible. All wild animals are potentially dangerous. Obviously, the bigger they are, the more intelligent they are, the more potentially dangerous they can be. But in this situation, we are perfectly safe. I'm constantly watching his body language. You see how his tail's swishing from side to side. He's feeding. His ears are flapping every now and again just to cool himself down. And so all of those signs are a way of telling that this elephant is perfectly relaxed with us being where we are. He hasn't actually realized that we are sitting here. But because we're quite close to the camp, he is even more relaxed than he might otherwise be. Dangerous says that it looks as though he is eating something tasty. I think it's quite possible that he is. First of all, there's some very nice fresh grass around this area, but the most important part, and the reason that we're seeing so many male elephants in this area, is because there's a tree called a marula tree that is fruiting at the moment, and marula fruit is an elephant's absolute favorite. It's very sweet, it's very high in sugar, and of course very high in vitamin C as well. Now, one thing that we're looking at when we're watching this elephant as he's moving away from us is that there is discharge coming out of the gland on his temple. So the temporal gland is currently secreting a liquid, and that is one of the indicators that this elephant could be in something known as must, which is a situation where the elephant's testosterone levels are heightened tremendously. And that, of course, changes their behavior ever so slightly. He's not in full must, as far as I can see. He doesn't have the full swagger going yet. But it's just a little beautiful thing that we wanted to share with all of you. To you all. If you want to see more of things just like this, you can Google SafariLive and you'll be able to find us right now on a live safari from 2 different African countries. From myself, Seb, and the lovely elephant that's wandered off, I hope you have a wonderful day. Okay, for the rest of you, the plan now is, first of all, starlings, shush now. Shush. You started so early this morning. When I got up at 3:45, the Birchall starlings were squawking outside my window. Oh, they've got a nest, Seb. Can you see there? There's a hole. I know it's not particularly easy for Seb to do while handheld, but they've actually got a nest. That's why they're making so much noise. How lovely. Have you got little babies in there? That's a hollow probably made by a woodpecker or a barbet that they have taken over. It's got that perfectly circular look to it, which means that it isn't just a natural hole in the marula wood. It's actually been constructed. And it won't have been done by the starlings themselves. It will have been done by the other birds with more powerful bills. Okay, we're going to leave our starlings and our elephant and go see if we can follow up on Hosanana and see where he's got to in the course of the night. While we do that, let's go and see how Lauren's morning plans are playing out.
So an update, here we are still trying to track the lions. Now, we drove past an area called Spaghetti Junction, and I swear I could smell buffalo. I don't have the most amazing eyes, and I definitely don't have the amazing ears after all the diving and waterlogged ears I have had, but my sense of smell is super, super keen and very sensitive to smells. If there's a bad smell around, I cannot handle it. So I can honestly believe that I smell the buffalo back there, or at least buffalo droppings, but to no avail. I can't see any signs of lions. On the road, there is a potential they could have walked through the thicket, of course. And if they walk through the thicket, then we definitely won't be able to track them. But I don't see any signs of them walking along the road. So we've just done a big loop. We're going to complete the loop and take it from there and see where they have gone. Now, for those who were not with us yesterday, we did manage to catch the Niconico Pride yesterday morning, and they were looking rather thin and rather hungry. One of them, actually 2 lionesses, attempted to go after a buffalo, but it was a failed attempt and the buffalo managed to get away. So there is lots of buffalo around. We saw them yesterday afternoon, quite a large breeding herd. So maybe the lions are onto that this morning. We are really not sure. Now, obviously, there was lots of leopards around, and it looks like Steve checked on the kill and it got stolen, most likely by the hyenas. So we wonder where those leopards have gone as well. So we'll keep looking. And then we're considering going down to the southern boundary if we do not manage to find the lions, and that's where we're going to start checking dens. So it's an exciting morning. We still have plenty of time to do all these things. Every little while I'm going to give a big sniff. Use my sense of smell for the buffalo. I just wonder where they've gone. Now, if lions are not stationary, as you know, they're just going to keep pacing around, and they can move incredibly fast. And that's the difficulty. That's when it becomes really tricky to keep up with them. I heard the question there. Do I smell something? You're going to need to repeat that one. Sounds like an interesting question, though. Looking forward to answering this if it's about my keen sense of smell. Oh, spiders! Bob is asking, can I smell spiders? I think that's probably a little tongue-in-cheek there. I wish I could, because then I would know that they're there and I would know to immediately evacuate. However, I cannot. I do have a nightly routine of checking my room in every corner and shaking out my bed, and everybody laughs at me because it's a completely irrational phobia. But no, I cannot smell spiders. But thank you for that. I can smell buffalo though, so my nose is on. So while we keep looking, we're not going to give up. Let's go to Isaac and see what he has.
Yeah, welcome back. Yeah, this hippo is rather very grumpy. I wonder what I've done to him, or maybe he's dying to go back to the water and take a nap, and I interrupted him. You see how he's got his head raised a little bit? He's very worried about me. I don't know why. I'm too small for you, mate. The hippos are all heading towards the water. I don't know how many you can see here. There were about 3. And yeah, you see 2 more way up there. And they're all headed to the river. We're very close to the river. Not very far. I'm only like 200 meters, like 600 feet. And this guy has been watching me, observing me. I don't know what he thinks of me. At one stage, he turned around. I thought he was going to come. And I was ready to go. But he has stopped, turned around, and he's heading towards the water. Now I'm a happy man. We are all happy in the vehicle here. I don't think I'd want him, coming towards my car and charging me at this time of morning. Yeah, hippos spend a lot of the time at night outside, and then eventually go back into the water like he is doing, and spend the whole day in the water to keep their skin moist, which are very delicate. If they stay out too long, they could dehydrate. Lisa, thank you for appreciating this. It's really cool, and also it's quite early, and we came quite early here into the river. Oh, here is the meat manager. We call him Bwana Afya in Swahili, Mr. Health Officer. He takes care of all dirty stuff over here. That is a sign to control us. Those people who think they can break the rules, that is a sign, to tell them that they're not allowed to go off-road in this area. Going back to the hippo, he's still there, wandering along towards the water. Those short legs, you think they're very slow, but I tell you that they can give you a run for your money. They can do 30 kilometers an hour, and they have like endurance. You can do that as humans, but you can only maintain around 100 meters, so they will get you. I'm not saying we try. Lady Starfire, you asked me how many times I've been charged by hippo. Well, I don't remember, but it's quite a few numbers. The really dangerous times were 3, but I try and avoid them as much as possible. It's not a good experience, and I don't think I would wish it to my worst enemy. It is very, very fast, and some of us who've been charged, they will have to change, the inner pants, or if you want to experience that, then you have to carry a spare set of pants, because it is not a good experience. Can you imagine a 2,000-pound beast coming at you at 30 kilometers an hour? You have no chance, no matter how big you are. Over here, I have some meat managers, and they've been going past me, and I've been ignoring. But there's one that has stopped, and he wants us to say hello. But he's taking off now. Yeah, he stopped again. He wants us to say hello, so I won't ignore him. He's right here, not very far, to my left, and he wants to say hello. Yeah, we are going to say hello to you. We are not afraid of you. I don't know exactly what you think of us. This is the spotted hyena, and a very clean one. I don't know, this is the second one we've seen in this area. I don't know where he's come from, but looks like he's been walking long distances. Look, all those wet legs. He looks like he's been walking quite a while. He's been stopping there and observing me and my car. I don't know what he thinks of me. Looks like he's got a funny gait. Yes, he does. His back right leg is rather awkward, doesn't walk properly. These are small injuries that sometimes result in a permanent way of walking, which is the case here. You can tell. He smells somebody there. I don't know what he's eating or maybe drinking, because there's been lots of rain, so he might be licking or lapping some water. I must confess that hyenas are one of my favorite animals, and the main reason is the way they live, and how they communicate. The whole social structure is quite interesting to me, and the way they don't play with food. I don't like playing with food also. He looks like he's on a plan or a mission. Maybe he's been invited for an early breakfast, and that's where he's headed. There was one earlier that headed that way, and I think he's following the scent of the first one. All in all, let me leave him to go that way. Let me get to the river and see what is happening. So shortly, not even 2 minutes, we'll be by the river. I'm hoping to find some hippos coming back to the water, and maybe some crocs. It's very few times that I've been to the river this time of morning, and I don't know what happens actually. So let me see what's gonna be at the river. It's right here. You can tell all the water on the tracks. James, yes, you'd like to see some crocs by the river. Fingers crossed. I'm hoping to show you some crocs before I leave the river. It's right in front of me. All this water is from the rain, but just count in a count of 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. There's the river. I don't know who's here. Let's see. Is that good angle, James, for you? Good. So we are here at the beautiful, great Mara River. Bright and early. I don't know who's here for us. Let's see. I can see some hippos there. Yeah. I think that one didn't go out. Maybe he's in the water quite early. So I don't know if he went out actually. Or maybe he went and came back very early. It is still very early. It's not even 7 o'clock. And I don't know if we'll be able to see some crocs, but who am I to say anything? This is where they normally are. And I know that this area is full of crocs. Those three there, those four, is a pod of hippos, and looks like they just came back and they're saying hello to each other. Good morning. How are you? How's your night? Which way did you go? Who did you meet? Yeah, you wonder what they're discussing or what they discuss when they meet. Yeah. Yeah. Over here, also another school or a pod of hippos, all, saying hello to each other. I'm gonna try and find some crocs, and while I do that, I'll link you to Jamie, all the way in Juma, in Greater Kruger.
Okay, so while Isaac scans the river, we're scanning the ground, and look whose pretty little feet graced the soil with their presence at some point last night. Most of you know, and it's already been mentioned, that Hosanna was seen on the dam camera last night. Even better, he came over here and he had a little roll, little lie down. So he created a little bit of disturbance in the soil where he rolled about. Typically when we're teaching tracking, the first thing we tell tracking students when there's a nice flattened piece of ground like this is to look for tracks in the middle of it. And he put his track there beautifully for us. And there we go. You can just picture it. Because you know Hosanna so well, you can imagine him walking along here and then flopping down and then rolling onto his back and rolling over onto his side with his paws up in the air like a big goofball. And then he got up and he moved a little bit further on and he plonked himself down over here. Beautifully so. And he lay down here. And he had a little bit of a roll. Again, not as big as the roll that he had over there. But it is really, really lovely to see such nice, fresh tracks. So that pretty much tells us what our plan is for today. He went back towards Inga's, so we'll go and have a look from there. In terms of identifying leopard tracks, it's pretty easy. Zephyr says Hosanna watted hard? I completely missed that. I know that Zephyr said that he did something, but I have no idea what it was. Sorry. Absolutely not a clue. Fanned? Fanned? Looking at Seb, Seb's looking at me. we definitely have cross communication here, but yes, we'll go with it. We'll go with it, Zephyr. We'll just, I'm apparently selectively deaf on this beautiful morning safari. Don't mind me. So, now, in terms of identifying leopard tracks, it can be quite tricky in soil like this because it is relatively coarse sand. It's thick and it's coarse. No, it's not quite as bad as Mulwati sand, but it creates quite indistinct tracks, and there'll be places where we go a bit further where you can see them more clearly. But essentially, these are his toesies over here. They're not really toesies anymore. He's not a baby, but I can't help it. And then there's 3 lobes to the back of his pad, which immediately tells us that you're dealing with a big cat. We know it's a leopard because there is no other cat in the world that has such a beautifully neat track. Looking for a better example. It's not my best work, this one, but I think we stomped on all the others. I think we definitely stomped on all the others. He went this way. I can't even find... No, it's so thick here. It's completely indistinct. He went this way. Which we knew, of course, because you very kindly gave us those updates. So beautifully neat track. We know it's Hosanna's, well, because he was seen. It's really just a process of elimination. He's not the same size yet as Dad, but he's getting pretty close. No, these are all indistinct, aren't they? They're not really all that clear. Yeah, so basically it's big, therefore it's a male. It's not quite as big as Tingana, therefore it's not... Did you see a nice one over there? I'm doing circles trying to look... Well, I think There's one in between our tracks. Meh, it's fine. It's fine. You know what leopard tracks look like. We can always find some more for you while we search for him. Let's jump back on board with Isaac. He is at the Mara River, and he has found the scariest animals of all.
Here I am, again, still at the Mara River, one of the big crossings. And over there, I have a few, like, scaly bits of a huge Nile crocodile. He keeps going up and down. I don't know if you can see those jagged, saw-like scales over there. That is a Nile crocodile. Your first one of the morning. I don't know if we're going to see another one, but maybe it's a way to start how to see a crocodile this morning. So you never know, we might get to see another one, but that's my first one. I'm thinking there will be more shortly. We will be able to show you some more, but we are scanning along the river. You see there's hippo. He just came in, that hippo, he just came in. And looks like they're saying hello to each other, and they're very, a bit playful. Actually, it's a beautiful time to be playing. A bit of a yawn, very gentle fight. So those two could be cousins or, pod members, so they're not aggressive towards each other. We are by the river, and anything is possible here, so I'm scanning around. Deja vu, you ask, how? I didn't get that. How is the river? I didn't get that, but if you're asking, this is the Mara River, and if you're asking about the depth, it differs from one area to the other. Over here, some places are very... Oh, how deep is the river? It does differ from one area to another. The section we are in, like especially where James is zooming in over there, you can tell it's not as deep. You can tell it's shallow, it's very rocky. So that there, it differs from 1 foot to 2 feet. Where those hippos are, I would say it's around 3 feet, because they have submerged themselves, so it's deeper than 2 feet. But closer to where I am here, it could be around 4 or 5 feet. It's very, very deep. You can tell nobody is staying here, very close to me, just below here. You see here, nobody is here, so I would say it's much deeper, so they cannot sit on the floor, so they are avoiding the hippos, but the other side is less deeper. So it does differ in where you are. I have swum in this river, but very far north, where there's less crocodiles, and where we swam was around 8 feet. It was quite deep, so it differs from where you are. Carl 6, you ask, what is the most scariest thing in this river? I would say both. They are both, because this is a river you don't want to swim, you don't want to cross, so they are both scary. I would say, you see, a crocodile will take you under fast over here, and a hippo, with one bite, you have no chance. You lose the power to swim or escape. So both of them are very scary. It's a river that I wouldn't advise anybody to swim. Yeah, sorry, we just missed this by just a few minutes, but it is sunrise and I have company. This is somebody, I think, who's got some aim like me and who loves being outside. And you can see it is sunrise. Look at that. Beautiful orange, orange, orange glow. Look at that. Wonderful. Yeah. it's official, it's daylight, and I'm loving it here at the Serena crossing. It has taken me over an hour to get here, but it's paying off. I love the sunrise. I love these hippos, you know, playing in the water. It's just such a wonderful feeling. Gary, you asked if males crocodiles fight over females. Yes, it's the same old story. The bigger and the older you are, the more chances you have of finding girls, and that's one way of attracting female crocs. And so they will fight each other. They will fight each other, and it's rather a scary kind of fight because, you know, I've seen them, they raise their heads like this and then, you know, they'll try and bite each other. But most of the time, they will avoid conflict because size usually intimidates others, and so they'll keep off fighting. So they do fight. And actually, the ones we find here, I call them submarines. I hope I can find you one. They can be up to 18 feet long and can weigh up to a ton. Yeah, huge. That's why, you know, somebody else asked me, you know, which is dangerous. I would say both. Yeah. It is getting light, and I'm hoping to find a croc for you guys. The river is running and the water is higher than I expected. This time of the year, normally it is quite low, and over the years the river has been getting lower and lower due to global warming. But I'm very happy to see this amount of water at this time of the year. That area you see there, I have seen, I think, hundreds of crossings there. Ramona, you asked me if the crocodiles stay in the water at night. Yes, they do. Unless they have a safe bank that is hidden off the wind and very secretly where they cannot be disturbed by any animal, they will come out, but they do stay in the water. I did show you one earlier and he was in the water, so I've never seen them where an area like this where they're out. I was talking about this river. I've seen hundreds of crossings in this section, and to see this, you know, this much water this time of the year, I'm so happy. I don't know what I see over there. Oh, it's another croc. Do you see it, James? Over there, drifting down there. There, you just went past it. To the left, and then in. Yeah, that one there is a croc. Yeah, there we are. That's a croc. And he's a big one. He was drifting down with the water, and then he saw the croc, you know, there's some hippos down, so he stopped there. I'm sure he's struggling to stay afloat. If you could see, he stayed right now, he's wiggling it at a very fast speed to try and hold on to that area. So that's another one, croc. So actually we started well. We saw some scaly, jagged scales, and now we've seen the head. So maybe next will be a whole crocodile. We are graduating slowly. Oh, there's another one. Ah, they're coming out. Maybe they're listening to us. This is the famous Nile crocodile. Yes, this is the famous Nile crocodile, and I'm going to try and find you another one while I link you down to Lauren. She's got a nice vulture for you guys this morning.
So we haven't came across any lions yet, but we do have here a very iconic vulture. Now, even from really far away, you can just look at that haunched body shape and know right away it is a vulture. And it is indeed the white-backed vulture, just standing on top of a broken tree and cleaning its beak by the looks of it. Now it's completely alone, but these birds are always prefer to be quite high up and use their incredibly accurate eyesight to see all around them. Now, most vultures do rely on thermals in order to fly, so this guy is probably waiting until its sun gets a little bit hotter and it can jump on a thermal, ride the thermal and see what it can find below. Now, many people think when they see vultures like this that there could be a carcass nearby, but due to the fact that vultures have such incredible eyesight, it could be keeping its eye on a carcass, but that carcass could, of course, be very far away. Now, one of the things I love telling people about vultures is there's actually different names used for the collective terms of vultures. So, a kettle will actually refer to a vulture in flight, which of course is not happening here, but you would use the word kettle if vultures are in flight. You would use the word committee to refer to vultures resting on the ground or resting in trees. So if there was more than one vulture here, we would use a committee of vultures, which I think is just fabulous. And the last one is a wake. Now, the word wake is reserved for a group of vultures that are feeding. So depending on what the vulture is actually doing, depends on which word you would use to describe the collective term. Isn't that fascinating? Now, whitebacks, of course, are the most frantic, noisy of all the vultures, and they normally arrive first at the kills. So there's sort of a hierarchy in which vultures will arrive at the kills, and whitebacks normally arrive first. So you can see this one just scanning, going from left to right to see exactly what it can find. Look at that, scanning the whole area below him. It's beautiful, and you just cannot mistake the shape of a vulture. Very fierce birds. They're not afraid. Obviously, we see vultures walk right up to lions, right up to leopards to try and get into the carcass which the cat has made. So to take on a lion is certainly something that, being this small as a vulture is a very brave thing to do. Jim is asking which is my favourite vulture. That's very difficult to say. I did watch a lion very close by to where we are right now, actually, eating a buffalo carcass, which the buffalo had died of natural causes. We believe it died during giving birth, and obviously the lion had found it. And there was a hooded vulture that kept coming in, absolutely no fear for the lion, and just kept coming to the carcass to obviously get some for itself. So due to its sheer bravery, and it was on its own as well, it was alone, I think I'll go with the hooded vultures. But vultures in general are pretty cool. It's got a little friend. Is that a little starling there? I'm not sure. Nope. No, it's off. And you could see the size comparison there between that average sized blackbird, I think, in comparison to the vulture. So this is a whiteback, but I think the hooded are especially awesome. So we will continue our journey. We are not giving up looking for... Ooh, that was not supposed to happen. I apologise. I'm crashing into everything recently. I did crash into a tree yesterday whilst live. That's very entertaining for many of you. Okay, there we go. Now we're back on the right track. So we did our loop around for the lions, and now we're just going to head down Twin Dams. We do believe we're in the area, but I think they've gone off into the thicket and the vegetation, so it will make them very difficult for us to find. So it's always worth just going down here. We're going to go down to the southern boundary and again see what we can find. Now Steve is also around, and he is also looking. The more eyes, the better. At least if everyone's taken a separate route, then we can most likely locate the animals. So let's see. We could also make it a competition, see who could find them first, myself or Steve. But I'm not going to do that, because he'll win and he'll never let me love it down. So we won't bother making a competition. Now the sun is getting to that point in the morning where it's right in your eye. So luckily I had my cap on today. Now we haven't heard any audio of the lions, so normally we can hear lions roaring or contact calling. So we haven't. Actually is just tracks which appear to disappear into the vegetation, which really does not make it easy for us whatsoever. But you never know, they might pop out onto the road. So we're on our way down to Twin Dams at the moment. Oh, yeah, I do see a track. Let me reverse and not crash, preferably. Okay, so I'm just going to have a look at this track and see what it's telling us. But for now, let's go back up to Isaac at the river.
Here we have found one of the huge crocodiles that are found here at the main crossing. You can tell he is not swimming, he's walking. It can give you the perspective of how heavy he is. The current is nothing to him. He's just walking with ease. He's one of the big daddies of this corner. This one can eat one of half-grown wildebeest, just like a snack. And you can tell he's still quite full. I think it's from the previous migration. These guys can eat one meal and spend the rest of the year resting. And these are techniques that they have evolved and can keep them going for the whole duration of the rest of the year. The reason he's gone round that corner, we saw there was a frenzy around that corner, but we cannot really get to give you that picture. And we had to come here and try and see if we could see what was happening around the corner. But now we realize we cannot see, so we'll have to drive back again and see if we can show you. Paul, you asked me how long a crocodile can go without a meal. Just like I said, it can go up to 1 year. And they have a 4-chambered heart where they can slow down their metabolism and actually just have 1 heartbeat a minute. So one good meal, they can utilize it and use the least energy, and it can take them up to 1 year. Imagine. But during the migration, when you're here where I am, you can see how they gorge themselves. That guy there, I don't know what he's waiting for, but he's just sleeping. Looks like he's fast asleep. Looks like he's a she, actually. Somebody might correct me on this, but I have found that females tend to be lighter than males, and also their muzzles tend to be more pointed than males. And I think, he looks like that to me. And this section here is infested with crocodiles everywhere. You look down here, it's just crocodiles. Over there we have 2 birds, and I think they're yellow billstalks. Oh, it's one yellow billstalk. Look at that, amazing. He's using the legs to disturb the ground. Lavender, Are crocodiles very gentle with their youngs? Yes, and very protective. You don't want to corner a crocodile or walk into a crocodile with young ones or eggs. They are very, very vicious and aggressive, and they will launch at you to try and chase you as much as possible. I think it's one of those cases where you don't want to walk close to a crocodile when it's got eggs or young ones. Yes, they are very, very protective. Yeah, this guy is still quite fast asleep. Maybe he had a good meal, and now it's a matter of digesting and taking it easy. This famous crocodile is very widespread, and I believe they got the name because maybe they were first appeared in Upper Nile and then they found their way here. And it's one of the only few reptiles that still considers man as a source of food. They'll actually hunt us, and they're very patient. They can stay underwater for up to 1 hour. They can see under murky water because they have this third eyelid called a nictitating membrane, which clears the eye while they're swimming in the water. And can you imagine having an anchor weighing 1 ton grab at you? You have no chance. So I would advise, don't bring your... Yes, I would advise you when you come to the Mara, don't bring your bikinis, no swimming here. I'll link you all the way down to Lauren, she's on a walk.
I have a funny story to tell you. First of all, we're very much on Hosana's tracks. They're very, very fresh. So I think there's a good chance that we're going to find him this morning. They've come all the way along down Philemon's cut line. We'll show them to you now. We'll go and have a look at them. But the funny story is that Lauren is about to discover what it's like to drive through predator scat and have that smell stay with her the entire time, because she drove through the biggest pile of fresh Hosana poo you ever did see. I was standing there going, something stinks, and I could just see the smooshed pile of scat all the way up the road, and then I could see it was Lauren because I know where she's been. They're all learning curves, these things. But I find that absolutely hilarious. We've all done it. I mean, it's one of those things that happens, especially when you're driving around a buffalo kill or something like that, and the grass is long and the lions have been there for 3 days. They leave you little traps, mines, we call them, because especially with lion scat, once you do that, you don't go back. You have that smell on your tire for the rest of the week, and possibly even longer. And every time you stop at an animal, they go, "Where's the lion?" And they run away. It won't quite work that way with leopard scat, but Lauren, if she finds lions this morning, might find herself an extraordinary source of fascination. I stepped on a stick and poked it into my own leg. I think it's going to be absolutely hilarious. These are very fresh tracks. There were alarm calls on quarantine, and he is here somewhere. We're going to find him. We're going to find them. Seb, even if you and I are both falling apart at the joints, we'll manage it. He might be young, but he can't outpace us. There's some very nice tracks. Here we go. So, to give you a reference, there is very fresh Hosana track. Beautifully fresh, and he's not even walking that fast. And I know that just by the distance between his front track and his back track. His back track is falling on his front track, which is known as registering, which downhill means that he's going quite slowly. He's walking at a normal pace. He's not racing, he's not marching, he's just strolling, which is exactly what we're doing. And you can see Herbie's tracks wandering along beside them. And we all know each other's tracks. Herbie's track, my track. Mine are very easily identifiable, aren't they? There's Seb's track. Just realised I've never actually looked at my track before. I mean, anything. I don't think there's many people with feet my size. Lauren, perhaps. I've got weenie feet. Okay, right. I'm going to take myself off along with Seb. We're going to go and march in this direction because he's here somewhere. Betty wants to know if we ever get scared walking out here. Not in most situations where people would think that we should be scared, but I have absolutely been scared. Very big difference between scared and panicking. So there's a very, very big difference. Most guides will tell you that they've never been scared. Macho, biceps bulging out of their white armband and carrying a rifle and, you know, looking all very big and scary, and they've never ever been scared of anything ever. I've been scared, absolutely. I've been scared for myself, I've been scared for others. I was scared witless for Brent the one night when he tried to get an elephant to stop pulling a branch down on my car, and she came thundering out of the darkness. I've been scared when a black rhino charged me, and it was very, very close. She stopped. There's our Ellie Bull friend. She stopped very close to me, so I was scared then. I've been scared by warthogs. I've been scared by francolins. Doesn't mean panicked. It just means nervous or aware of the potential danger. So this is our Ellie Bull. He's walking the other way, but let's just have a look at his strides. There's my foot in his track. There's the next step, and the next, and the next, and the next, and so on, and so forth. And then you get an idea as to how it is that elephants manage to cover as much ground as they cover, even when they're just walking. My knee has stopped working this morning. Ow. I must have done something to it yesterday. Here's Herbie. Okay, we're getting very, very close to Hosanna now. I'm going to concentrate quite fiercely, mainly because Herbie and I have a competition as to who's going to see him first. Off you pop across. He's cheating. He's gone. Off you pop across to Steve, who's also tracking.
Welcome back, everyone. Well, obviously we didn't find the leopards on the scene. We're trying to make head or tail of where those lions have gone. And they came from Mamba, they came through the drainage line. They stole the kill, which is just up there. But what we've got over here, very easy to see in the sand, is a very large giraffe track. And the lions were hunting the giraffe. You can tell that by how much this has been kicked back. I've got a second one over here, which is barely even showing you any of the track, just the sand that's been kicked all the way there. And then another one over here. This is a giraffe that was putting in some serious effort to get away from the lions. So I don't know where they've gone. They don't seem to have crossed east. Someone has told me that they haven't crossed east. But I've been having a look in here, scratching around. I haven't managed to find anything. But maybe after stealing that kill, they came back, hunted giraffe, and they've ended up in this side, because this is where we had the baboons shouting this morning. It might have been a leopard. It's hard to say. But the whole pride of lions was here. I'm not going to tell you which pride. They came in from the south. So it could be anybody, really. Could be the Sticks back on the property. Could be the Tortured Pride. Could even be the Ukuhumas having done a huge loop and back in again. All I know, there's a pride of lions. We'll see if we can track him down. We come around this side onto our fire break, and we'll be close to Twin Dams again, and maybe we'll manage to find something there. But for now, it's been just a lot of tracks in the sand, up and down. Everyone would like to see a giraffe. Well, there's tracks of a couple here that have been running away. Maybe we'll find them, or maybe they've completely terrified themselves and have now gone somewhere else. So we'll see. Let's see if we can find you something. I always like to take the challenge to try and find these animals. It is quite something, especially when they're hunting like they are now. Hunting the way they've been hunting. They go up and down, and it becomes quite an affair to try and track down where they're going. But I found a couple routes already, but now I'm a bit stumped. But then I am Also feeding on information that someone said that they haven't crossed east. And I might need to go and check that to make sure, because if they have, then I'm wasting a whole lot of time. So a lot of you would like to see some lions. Well, I'd love to show you some lions. I really would. I really would. Let's go down on the fire break here. Come down into the Moati drainage. And then from there, see what we can find. Maybe the baboons were shouting at the lions. I don't really know the difference between a baboon shouting at lions or leopard. What I do know is they just shout. Wow, wow, wow. Okay, so we're just coming down here. Unfortunately, we might come into another low signal area, so I'll just give it a moment. Definitely going to be coming into a signal now, Stefan. Okay, let's go out the other side. Okay, well, folks, while I try and make head or tail of where these lions have possibly gone, let's take you back up to the Masai Mara with Isaac, who's enjoying a bit of time by the river.
Here I am back at the same spot. We're trying to locate those feasting crocodiles, but not. But here we are. We have a yellow-billed stock, and he's very busy fishing. The opening of the mouth, he's hoping something is going to go through in between the, the mandibles, and then he's going to close shut and get it for breakfast. Looks like a breeding one. We see those pinkish colors on the back. It's coming into breeding. That's how they say, I'm ready for you, mate. That's the language of love in birds. They change their plumages. I don't know if he's going to get something, but let's see. Yeah. He's fishing. He knows that that's where fish will be hiding. Yeah, those legs, this is their use. They can wade in deep water and hoping to disturb a fish, and then grab it quite quickly. They also risk those smaller crocs, up to 4 feet, 5 feet long. They would go for them also. But if they are not their preferred choice, only when they're very desperate, they'll go for birds like this. And I think I've only witnessed that a handful of times, not very many. I wonder why he chose this spot. Maybe it is from experience that he has. Megan, sorry, my comms were not working properly, so I did hear your name and I heard the word fish, but not the rest. Please, could you come again with this question? Oh, what type of fish I found in this river? I think I've seen silverfish, which is sort of a tilapia. Tilapia is a fish found in Africa, but this one here is very scaly and very bony, not good for eating. We have the mudfish, which is a bottom feeder, and also catfish, also a bottom feeder, and a long-snouted fish. It resembles it's got a snout like an elephant facing downwards, which tells it's a bottom fish. And I can tell you this from experience because I have fished somewhere far out north of this river outside the game reserve some times back with one of my good friends, Peter. I used to fish down there, up there. So those are the kind of fish that are found here. Also small crocs are found, and right now he's going for anything that he might find. see that the leg probing is disturbing whoever is hiding, and he tries to run away. Maybe he run towards the two bigs, and then he's done. I don't know if he's gonna get something, but I'm wishing him, Joy, you ask if this is a male or female. That's a good question. I'll tell you just now. I have my book Bible over here, and I'm gonna try and see if I can actually tell you it's male or female. I've never actually thought of identifying the differences, but let me see. Yellow bee stop. Here I have yellow bee stock. Well, it doesn't tell me in my book Bible here the differences, so it's rather hard to tell between male and female. But you can tell it's coming into season. I would assume it is a male because in birds, males get these amazing plumages that excite the females, and maybe I would say he is a male. And right now, he's not looking for love, he's looking for breakfast. And very desperate because he's getting deeper and deeper into the river, which I would say it's rather a bit of a risk because he might end up in the menu. Yeah, all this is happening in the Great Mara River, and you're on Safari Live. Remember to tweet us on #SafariLive, or you can watch us on YouTube live stream. Join in conversations, and please, we'd appreciate your comments and also criticism, and also as many questions as possible. It is beautiful here. You can tell the water is quite dirty. It's been raining upstream all the way up towards the Mao, where it's the source of the Mara River, and that's why the water is so dirty. I don't say it gets cleaner and cleaner than this, but it's a bit like browner from experience. He's getting deeper and getting much more adventurous. I hope he doesn't get scuffed or falls and then get washed downstream. I would say maybe he didn't have a good meal yesterday and previous day, and so he's getting very desperate, because there are few pools out there where I know there are more or better chances of getting something. I'm hoping he's gonna get something, but I don't know. Let's see. He's disturbing. No. What is happening? Being lucky. Poor guy. I think it's one of those lucky bad mornings, unlucky bad mornings. Not getting anything. Oh dear. Are you gonna get something? Okay, are you gonna get something? Hey. John, you ask how cold is the river? Outside here, it's around about 19 degrees Celsius, which is around 63, 65 Fahrenheit. I would say the water would be around 10, which would be around 50. So I don't know where you're asking from. I don't know what kind of weather you get to your place, but for us here, that is cold, and I wouldn't even think of having a bath or a shower. Or a swim. It is cold for here. Lovely. He's decided to have a rest. He's not having a very good morning, this guy. Yeah, while I stake out this guy and hope he gets something, I'll link you down to Greater Kruger in a place called Juma, where my colleague Jamie is on a walk for a bit more on the bush.
I hope he does too, Isaac. Now, currently experiencing one of my absolute favorite feelings in the entire world. We're so close to Hosanna, I can almost smell him. and not in the sense of, leopard scat that's mashed onto a tire. He's somewhere really, really, really close to us. We've narrowed it down to the section of drainage around Ingwe Alley. Ah, that's awesome. Thank you, Stefan. I'm happy to hear that I'm close enough to Hosanna I can almost smell him. Oh, are these mosquitoes? No, these are little biting flies, Seb. This is why we're being chowed. These horrible little creatures here. I'm not going to focus for too long on them. Are they mosquitoes or are they flies? Can you see? They look like oh no, they're mozzies. Yeah. They're mozzies. Awesome. Marvelous. No wonder we're getting munched so often. Lots and lots of standing water around, which of course is ideal breeding ground for mosquito larvae. And rinse, repeat, you get a situation where you've got this many mosquitoes hanging around. The females, of course, are the ones that drink your blood. The males actually are pollinators of plants and actually quite important. And it doesn't mean I feel anything when I smack a mosquito on my leg or my arm. Okay, I'm not sitting here for too long. Seb says please. He's getting munched. They like you. They don't like me all that much. I do, you're right. They're not chewing my legs. Fair enough. As I said, is my favourite feeling. I know he's here somewhere. It's very thick over here. He might have been hunting. So we're proceeding with a degree of caution. But we know he's here. The only thing we've got to hope is that he doesn't sneak around us while we're walking up here. But that's fine. That just gives us something more to do with our morning. So today on walk, I'm not actually stopping for many of the little things, for which I do apologize, because the point of the walk is really to give you interesting views of tiny things. But I'm distracted and I want to find Hosanna. It would be nice. Also gives me something to film this afternoon for the rehearsal. And there's that to it. No, sorry. My brain's geared for leopards. Romand would like to know what insect scares me. No insects really scare me. In terms of non-insects, centipedes are probably my least favorite thing in the entire world. I do not like centipedes. Mosquitoes should probably be the scariest, because they are the ones that they kill more people than anything else in Africa. And that's, of course, because they transmit the plasmids for malaria, which Seb got last year in December and I got this year in December. So and malaria, if you don't catch it in time, can be very serious. And it took me by surprise, even though we caught mine very early. It took me by surprise just how weak and ill I was for a good month afterwards. So it is a very, very dangerous disease if not treated quickly, and it kills a lot of people. So mosquitoes are probably the scariest in that sense. Blister beetles can be pretty nasty. Herbie's going down into the drainage. Look, a snake skin. I say with almost complete disinterest. I mean, it's very pretty, but I want to find the leopard. Oh, sorry, Seb. Oh, good. What would you guess? Generic snake. It's a bit difficult to see without the head. Could be a mamba. Mambas grow very, very quickly. Certainly looks like mamba scales. They're also territorial, and they grow about 1 meter in a year. So it could easily be a mamba. They do shed quite often. In which case, there's probably a mamba knocking about somewhere here. But snakes, definitely not scary. Snakes, it's just about understanding. Beautifully smooth. Awesome. Cool. Well, we can go down there. Remember that? Huh? I think Kirby whistled at me. Ah, no, he didn't. He didn't. Anyway, I was going to say, remember that mamba skin that we found basically when I started working here? This leopard's here somewhere. Or we've missed his tracks going out, which is possible. Sneaking down into the drainage. It's quite thick here, so it's going to take some serious concentration to actually spot him. Hosanna? Oh, there's a duiker.
Where?
There.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. Well, it's a truly concerted team effort on Djuma today. We're tracking Hosanna. The duiker's running away from us, and Steve is, looking for leopard. Seb.
Tracking a leopard? I think I've been trying to track lions for the last hour or so. Thanks, Jamie. Well, I've had no luck. That nothing's come out of that block, which means that they're probably inside somewhere. Hungry lions that have just fed on a little bit of impala. Well, I'm just going to go double check cheetah cut line to make sure that they haven't gone east. And if they have, well, it's not a bad thing. I can go into Torchwood and have a little look. But checking around a block to make sure an animal doesn't come out is one of the most important things to do. And if they have, well, you waste a lot of time if you haven't checked properly. So let me just go and make double sure. And then at least we know that they're inside this very thick, long grass habitat. We know that they're hungry. I don't think a very small impala would have made that pride any fuller than they were before, considering that there's quite a number of lions there. I can't tell you from the tracks exactly how many. Excuse me, but there's definitely more than 5. So 5 lions quite easily eat quite a bit of food at one stage. Someone talking there. Okay, so here is the tracks of Tundi. Tundi. She has been in. They're not that fresh. They've just come in from the east. They're heading in that direction. It's possible that she was actually the one who caught that impala yesterday. Paula, do I have a favorite pride? I love the Awino pride. Something about the Awinos that, I don't know, I just spent a bit of time with them. I liked how they dealt with things. They were the small up-and-coming pride. Obviously, the sausage pride is a firm favorite with most people, with all the cubs. Who doesn't like cubs? But I just like the accessibility of the Awinos and where they were. And, well, they gave me some action while I was there. Basically, absolutely no one, not a single hunt was done while I was with the sausage pride. So they did nothing but lie around and suckle their youngsters. So they weren't that exciting for me. But lately, Isaac's been having an absolutely fantastic time, hasn't he? Really, buffalo after buffalo. Okay, so some very relaxed impala up ahead. Those of you who weren't with us last night, we found Tundi up in a tree just up ahead over here, which was very special to see. She was just kind of chilling out in the tree. But I did notice a couple injuries on her, and I was chatting with Tristan about that. And he reckons that she got into a bit of a boxing match with Sabui. Very bad injury here under the bottom left shoulder. So she was just up in this tree over here. Then led us to, well, we already found the kill with Tingana. The hyenas had led us there. Just making double sure that there's no tracks of a pride crossing out. And if they're not, there's a very good chance then, ladies and gentlemen, that they're just lurking here inside. keeping our eyes open, and every now and again, good to just stop and have a listen, because if they caught something, well, you'll always hear those little grunts and snarls of feeding cats. We're just going to do one final spin around this block, and then, well, then we're going to have to do something else if we don't come right. But in the meantime, let's go up to the Mara once again with Isaac, who this time has found some lovely zebra.
I am still here in the great magical Mara River. And what is going to happen here, if it does happen, it is going to break all the rules that have been put down by us humans. There is a very big herd, or if you want to call it a dozen of zebra, all headed to the river, and I am thinking they will be crossing the river. I won't say anything further than that, but those are the last ones to come down. There is a good number of about 200 that I cannot see. They are hidden by a thick bush to the right of those. And they all, that bush over there, they are behind that. You can see those ones are still headed down the river. They're still going to the river. If it happens, all the rules will be broken, and it will mean animals can cross any time of the year. They are all heading to the river. I don't know what's going to happen, but I'm here, and I'm going to be here for a little bit longer until I can prove if they're not going to cross or cross. So sit back and enjoy yourself. Those ones that are milling over there, they haven't decided what they want to do. There is a good number of them that are somewhere that, like I said, there is a waterbuck in between those zebra over there. Those ones, I think they are the scary ones, the coward ones. They are looking, saying, you know, are we really going to close? Is it not too early? Is the water not too cold? Those ones are still deciding, but I have a good number of them that have headed to the river. This is the famous Bachel zebra, or the common zebra. Safi sana. Yes, it is a lot of zebra, and for some reason they want to go across. I don't know why. We're just waiting for the zebra. There's some there. We think they're going to cross. We're hoping they're going to cross. Yes. Yes, I was sorry. I was talking to somebody who just came, stopped not very far from me. He was wondering what we're doing here. Everybody's starting to arrive now. We woke up quite early in the morning, and we've been out since around 4:30 in the morning. And I think if these guys cross, they will make my day. I don't know if they're going to. I cannot say anything, but there's no other reason that could make them go towards the river this early. They cannot drink this morning, you know, this early. So definitely, I think they want to cross. So, you know, I don't know how long it takes when you come here to the river. Sometimes it takes 10 minutes. Sometimes it takes 1 hour. Sometimes it takes 2 minutes. So who says anything? Looks that those three have said, no, we are not going to cross. They want to head back, but there is still quite a good number that we can see. So, I don't know. I don't know. This is the Bachels, or the common zebra, very widespread through East and Central Africa, spreads out all the way to Southern Africa. We have a few races in South Africa, but in Kenya, this is the most common. And they do make the annual migration of wildebeest, where they amount up to around 500,000. And we do see them mainly from June, July, August. Taz, you ask, you know, if they do cross with wildebeest, Those are things that everybody think, and I have seen them cross with wildebeest, but I have also seen a lot of zebra cross by themselves. So it's not always that they cross with the wildebeest. If the wildebeest are there, they'll cross together, but I have seen zebra cross by themselves. And this is where I'm saying, a lot of records will be broken if these guys cross this time of the year, and also this late, and you wonder what they want to go do on the other side. Those are the ones that were still back there. Looks like there's a few that are making decisions to continue coming down. Yeah, I don't know if you have any one that's brave or courageous enough to do it and go across. If it does go across, we'll be able to see them from the right-hand side of that bush where they're disappearing. The problem is there's a good pod of hippos up there, and I don't know if those ones will stop them from going down. Yeah, a few are going back. I don't know what decision has been made, and this is typical of any crossing. It is telling me it's very much like crossings during the migration time, where I come here and sometimes sit for 6 hours, hoping that one will take a leap and everybody else will go, which is usually the case. And sometimes one decides to go back and everybody goes back. Looks like a majority of them are starting to go back, but I'm still gonna sit here. Sometimes one decides to turn and everybody follows her. If it does happen, I tell you, it's going to be so amazing. It's going to make my day. But all in all, it won't break my heart, because it is nature and I cannot predict what is happening. Titi, you ask if the zebras are far from the river? No. From where they are to the water is around 800 meters. No, sorry, 400 meters, which is around 12,000 feet. That's how far they are. Those ones you see right now on the screen, but there are some that are only about 30 meters, which is like 60 feet, behind a bush that we can't show you because we can't see them. So they're all headed. You'll see their heads are all facing the river. Sometimes the pressure will force them to go down. And once one jumps in, everybody will jump in. You see, there's more coming. Very typical of migration time. That is what happens. They're all coming down. But they have to be very wary. See how they stop and look around. This is an area where I have seen lions and leopards, ambush these animals. So they're also still very wary. And also through experience, there are those ones that have done it and seen their mates and colleagues get taken by crocs. So it's a precarious journey and also crossing. Those ones are trying to get the last minute nibble, maybe, get courage, or maybe they're playing eating so that somebody else can go in front of them, so they don't be the ones to be taken. I don't know what's the dynamics that are playing around there, but definitely now more and more are coming. There is a good number. That's a long line. Paula, you ask if people take boat trips in the Mara River. No, they don't. And I wouldn't even think of doing that because it is not wide enough and some areas are very rocky. They once did an experiment where they put a rubber dinghy with 3 dummies inside and let it flow downstream. And I wasn't there, but I could see, I saw it in a magazine, and there's a sequence of pictures where a hippo looks up and sees this thing, you know, floating downstream, and then races upstream towards this dinky, grabs it, and, you know, like drowns it. And that was the end of it. And I think since then they decided that, you know, there's nothing like boating in the Mara River. And I don't think I would want it for anybody else to do it here in the Mara River. It's too dangerous. You cannot do it. So there's no boating in the Mara River. Yes, there are too many hippos. There are too many crocodiles. I wouldn't want anybody to do it. And I think it was a wise idea. Yeah, they're still milling around over there. They're having a last-minute meeting to decide. Maybe they're arguing. I went fast last time. No, you go fast. No, I'm not going. Why do we have to go? Let's go back. No, I think it's better that side. I think there's a big discussion going on there. You never know what they're thinking. I wish I could speak zebra. More and more are coming. I'll link you to my colleague Steve, who is in Greater Kruger, for a bit of an update of exactly what's happening, and I'll keep you updated.
Welcome back, everybody. Well, we haven't found any lions, but what we have found is a very cool track on the road. Can you see this? Looks like a drag mark, BK. Just going to jump out and show you what it is. It's one of those funny tracks that if you don't quite understand it, you're going to get it confused. It almost looks like something is being dragged over here. Can you see it, BK? You see this, everybody? It is moving along, feet aside, and then drag mark, a little bit of moisture, not sure what that's from exactly, but this is in fact the track produced by two tortoises mating. So one tortoise is walking on the ground, the male tortoise is on her back, and he's trying to mate, and well, generally she moves, and she's moved all the way from there, all the way along here. She kept going, all the way again, into the bushes for a bit of privacy, and then back off again. And and they keep going down the road. That is so cool. That's one of those really cool tracks that you get to see not that often, everybody. PG, rated 16, I think. Well, that's the highlight of my day, finding that. So we've done a proper loop around the block there, and no lions coming out, folks. So I'm pretty sure that the lions are inside that block. They probably made a kill sometime last night after stealing, or they're just napping. So I'm just going to go around and check a few of the watering holes while I go, and then move back into that area, and maybe I'll get another go at it. Maybe Herbie will come across and give me a hand. It'll be quite nice, but otherwise we're just going to have to see what I can do. Don't forget, folks, this is a 100% interactive safari, and we love to hear from you. Hashtag SafariLive, or just throw your questions and comments in on the YouTube chat stream. It's lovely overcast conditions. I think it's actually time for a coffee at the watering hole, don't you think, BK? BK's nodding his head. Time for a coffee. Well, we're almost up to Buffelshoek watering hole. I just thought I'd come and have a look and see if anything mysteriously has turned up. Because you never know, anything could pop in here. Hello, Taz. I don't think there's really any difference in size in tortoises. It's all about age. So I don't think there is if a male and female tortoise are the same age, I don't think there's a change in size. I think it's all got to do with age. I mean, I do stand to be corrected. Females might be slightly bigger, than males, but I really don't know. It's not something I've noticed. But you often will find bigger tortoises with smaller tortoises, and sometimes the female's the smaller one, or should I say the bigger one. But it really is an age-dependent thing. They grow constantly throughout their lives. So I don't think you can look at one and go, oh, that's a female, oh, that's a male. You basically have to touch the underbelly, because the female, to facilitate the male mounting her, because obviously her back is like that, the male has to have a concave belly so as to be able to get onto the back of the shell, whereas the female's belly can be a little bit more flat. The male's belly has to be concave so as to facilitate climbing on top of her back. You can imagine him trying to hold on there while she's walking. It would be quite funny if his shell didn't have any sort of leeway, should I say, for facilitating her shell fitting in. They'd just be sliding off. It wouldn't make that same sort of track. And the track that you see, there's actually the bottom of her shell, or the bottom of his shell, dragging along the floor, because he's obviously lifted up into almost a bipedal sort of walk, although he's putting all of his weight on the female's back. Anyway, here we are popping in to Buffelshoek, and there are some lion tracks there, but they are from the other day. The Nkuma Pride was here. Hello, Scuba Steve. He's very happy these days with all the water, isn't he? Here we go. Oh, he's got a lady friend today, everybody. Someone's come to visit. It's not just the tortoises that are having a love affair. It is also the hippopotamuses. There we go. Where are they, BK? Okay, so one is above the water, the other one's just in front, body underneath. And I'm thinking that Scuba Steve is the one under the water, because once again, there you have the one with the pink eyes. Everyone's happy to see Scuba Steve. Of course we are. Well, we don't want to go close and to disrupt, because they're having a little bit of a romance there in Buffelshoek watering hole, and you can just see his nostrils. He's the one on the right, I believe. Just every now and again pop up. It's showing his new friend the layout of his watering hole, and it is looking far better than it did a few weeks ago. And if you just pan out slightly there, BK, you'll notice, folks, all the vegetation that's growing in the watering hole, and that's because the mud level or the water level got so low, it facilitated all sorts of seeds and aquatic plants to germinate because of the shallowness. And now that the water's come back, a lot of the plants have died off, but some of them have managed to get to that sort of level where they can still photosynthesize. They are the worst Egyptian geese parents in the world, according to James Hendry in the top left-hand corner. There they are. Hello, Adam. Welcome. Welcome to the show. Make sure you subscribe by clicking the bell, and you'll get all the notifications of when SafariLive goes live. And, well, Adam, as you've now noticed, you can ask questions, and you can you can post comments as well. And if you try and keep your questions and comments relevant to what's going on, then there's a very good chance they will be mentioned on the screen. So we have hippos here. You could ask me any question you'd like to about a hippo, and hopefully the name will come through, or the question will come through. And, well, this is Buffelshoek watering hole. It's right up in our north-eastern section of Djuma. And for Adam, who's the new viewer, I'm going to show you our map real quickly. And if there's anyone else out there who is a new viewer, pay very careful attention to this map, because it is a fantastic rendition of the Djuma Private Game Reserve. And this is where we live. We live just over there. And this is the favorite watering hole of Hosanna that they've been searching for this morning, and he's somewhere over here. We've been searching this whole area over here this morning. So the lions came in from the south. They went along this road and they cut in. They stole a kill from a male leopard just over there. I've been searching that area quite deliberately this morning, and now I've decided because I checked the whole boundary. It's good to check a boundary to see if animals come in and out, and we've gone all the way up here, and now we're sitting at Buffelshoek watering hole right up in the northeastern part of Djuma. So it's nice to see the map and get a bit of an idea of where we all are, and also a very good spot to stop and have a coffee, which BK and myself are going to have in about a minute or two. But let's go back over to the hippos, shall we? Scuba Steve has lifted his head for us. What a marvellous specimen he is. And the Egyptian geese family is to the back there. So hippos spend most of their time in the water. They come out at night to feed on grass. Can you believe it? Grass. Yes, they are a very dangerous animal. You know, Isaac was talking about how dangerous hippo can be, and that's purely because of their proximity to water and the fact that humans need water for so many different things. Many of us in the world are blessed with a tap and a washing machine, water delivered to our house, but much of rural Africa is still dependent on rivers and lakes and dams for not only drinking water, but for washing their clothes. And so invariably women and children are seen walking to and from the water in the early morning, trying to get water. And quite often they end up catching a hippo on its way back to the water. And an animal that weighs 2,500 kilograms, 3,000 kilograms, 5,000, almost 6,000 pounds, if it decides to step on you, well, there's a very good chance you're going to be in a lot of pain. A lot of pain. And so hippos are responsible for killing more people in Africa than any other animal. Also, the fact that a lot of rural Africa also is fishing. They live off subsistence fishing. So they go in on boats. Isaac was saying he wouldn't go down the Mara River in a boat. Well, there's lots of hippos there. Hello, Robin. You want to know our hippos, mate? Well, it's quite similar to most animals. The only difference is hippos do it in the water. I've never actually seen it happen, but essentially what happens is the male will just mount the female in the water. It's never too deep in a hippo pool. They don't actually swim, they walk along the bottom, so he would have to mount her in a sort of an area that the buoyancy is enough to keep his weight as well as her weight, so as not to squash the poor girl in the water or drown her. And I think it's quite a quick affair, but I can't say I've ever seen it. Because, interestingly enough, rhinos have got a very, very elaborate mating ritual, and it can go on for 35 to 45 minutes. So maybe hippos are a little bit more elaborate, but I've yet to encounter it actually happening. Maybe it happens under the cover of darkness. Possible, although hippos are generally out of the water by night. And so those are many of the classic characteristics why they talk about hippos being closely related to whales, because they feed on vegetation, they mate and sleep in the water, they give birth in the water, and they also breed in the water. So Adam wanted to know, I'm sorry, I didn't get the whole entirety of Adam's question there, Stefan. If you could repeat that for me while we look at the nostrils of Scuba Steve sticking above the water. Pachyderms. Are hippos pachyderms? Not that I'm aware of, Adam. I'm not aware that they are pachyderms. They've got 4 toes on their foot. I know elephants are pachyderms. I don't think a rhino is a pachyderm. I'm not 100% sure. I've always been familiar with the fact that a rhino is not a pachyderm. But I could be completely wrong there. I mean, that's one of the things, Adam, is we don't always know the answer to these questions. So keep them coming, though, because we like to learn. I'm definitely going to have to find out. But I wonder if any of the other viewers out there, our long-standing viewers, are able to tell me whether Adam's question, whether a hippo is a pachyderm. I'm pretty sure an elephant is the only pachyderm, but I could be mistaken. So please, anybody, hashtag SafariLive or throw it in the YouTube stream if you can answer Adam's question for him, or tell me if I'm talking absolute nonsense. Because it does happen sometimes, but I'm very quick to admit sometimes when I don't know. Okay, so thank you, Kirsty and FC. You have managed to find out that hippos are in fact pachyderms. Well, we learn every day. We learn every day, but now I'm going to have to find out exactly what are the characteristic features of a pachyderm. Very interesting. It's probably got something to do with the foot. Probably, but then I don't know. Thank you for that, Adam. It's nice to be challenged. It's nice to get the creative juices flowing in the head. And it's just one of those things that no one can know everything. And it's very important to be able to admit when we do not know. Something to do with 16 hooves. I don't know if that makes sense, but it's got something to do with their feet. That's what I'm sure about, but I'm not 100% sure. Thick skin and hooves. Okay, well, we're going to have to look more into that, as I'm not getting the full picture in my ear. But anyway, as I said, BK and I are going to have a coffee in a moment, because that is the best thing to do. One of the most favourite things to do on a game drive safari is to stop at a watering hole, admire the hippos or whatever else is coming down, have a coffee and maybe a light snack, and in the afternoons, it is really good to do that with something a little bit stronger. We like to call it apple juice. But anything a little bit stronger than coffee in the afternoon for a sundowner at a watering hole is a really good time to not only enjoy the peace and quiet, but also to sort of get to know the people that you are with. Get to know the people and to just sort of touch base, because when you're driving around on a game drive, sometimes the people on the back aren't really interacting with you too much because, well, they're just taking it all in. And so it's a good opportunity to find out who's who and where people are from. Okay, well, it seems like Isaac is having a wonderful morning in the Masai Mara. This time he's got some very small carnivores.
I'm still by the river. I haven't gone very far. I just moved a little bit to have a breather because the zebras left the river, and I moved a little bit, and here I am, and I have found a gang of mongoose. These are banded mongoose, the snake self-proclaimed killers. Over here, looks like they're just woken up, still quite slowly, so they're trying to sun themselves. They are across the river and very far away from us, but with a powerful lens we are able to zoom in there. This is how far we are, and I don't know which directions they're gonna go, but they have been known to forage not very far from their few dens, so that just in case of danger they can scamper quickly to one of their dens. Mind you, very few animals go for them. The one that really I have seen go for them is lion, but they usually defend themselves. They have those sharp claws and teeth. I have seen one escape, which I don't know how it did. I think to me, when it explained to the others, it might have said, "Oh, that was a miracle, I escaped lions." That's how I would explain. But pythons go for them, martial eagles, crown eagles. And we are by the river. We haven't left, and we still have more of those big, huge crocs that are found along the Mara River. And this is one of the crossings, one of the main crossings. There are quite a good number of crossings, and this is where the main one, where everybody concentrates, comes and to wait for the crossing. Cheetah, do caracals or servals pose a threat to mongoose? I would say no, because they are so defensive. I have never witnessed, but the way I know how defensive these guys are, I think, you know, they would, caracols would avoid them. Yes. But who am I to say anything? Maybe there's somebody else who has witnessed them going for mongoose. I have never myself. Here you can tell they're not going very far. They're just relaxing. So they actually, maybe they got really cold. Maybe their den got water. And so they just left the inside, safety of the inside. And now they're outside and they're sunning. There are quite a few, and I don't know why. Usually gang like this is larger. They can be up to 30, 40 members. But this one, they're just a few. These guys, you know, have got an amazing ability to see and smell. And their sense of smell is quite good. They are able even to smell something underneath and also detect the slightest movement inside the ground. Things like, you know, spiders, crickets have no chance with the mongoose. That's why they're always digging the ground, trying to get, you know, little grumps inside the ground. On it all, we're going to show you something else which we just discovered while we came here. And I think this is one of the 4 musketeers. This is one of the lions. It's across the river. I don't know which one it is. I'm hoping he's going to get up for us. And then I'm going to be able to tell you who he is. Paula, you asked me if mongoose hibernate when it's cold. They cuddle each other. They like cramp up, form a little ball to warm themselves up, but they don't hibernate. Hibernating is a term where, you know, it will go for a season where they would feed, you know, an animal will feed itself, gorge itself, then stay in one spot for longer periods while it's got lots of food in its tummy to take it through that harsh time or bad period. I wouldn't use it over here in Africa because we have very few animals that do that, and also we don't have those kind of seasons. Here they just go into the den and just warm themselves inside. So they don't, the mongoose. Yeah, those are another 2, 3, 4 big, huge crocs. You can tell how big they are. They've been eating well. Yeah, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, they're all there packed, warming up. You know, they're cold-blooded, as you know. So they're warming themselves to be able to swim faster. And if something comes, they can be able to grab it, leap on it, and get it. A scarp, yes. I'm wondering who is this. Let me see. I'm gonna see. Turn around. Let me see your eyes. Who are you? I don't know who's that. I'm trying to identify him. Let me see. No, this is a young male. I don't know who he is. The reason he's here by the river, I don't know. Does he want to cross? Maybe. But the main reason he's here by the river, I don't know. He's quite a youngish male. I would give him about maybe 6 years. He's not in a hurry. It could be that he wants to follow the migration back into the Serengeti. He looks quite new to me. I haven't seen him before. It's a pity that he's across the river, but you cannot have everything. I would have gone there and tried to identify who he is if I've ever seen him. But this one, for sure, I haven't seen him. I don't know who he is. Right, it's quite a distance. I don't know who he is. He's magnificent. He's so beautiful. I wish him luck. I'm going to go back to the crossing because we don't know what's happening. I don't want to get there and find the last zebra crossing. So let me go back there. If in case you had not joined us earlier, we did have these zebras that were heading towards the river, and they were, you know, looking like they were going to cross the river. And that's why I want to go back and see what they are doing. All right. Oh, he's up. Is he gonna do something? I don't know what he's gonna do. I'm sure he's enjoying the sun. It's really nice. I'm gonna start, you know, peeling my layers now. You can imagine how he feels. You know, he's been there, you know, maybe from this morning. Okay, I think this guy has gotten really comfortable, which means, you know, I don't think he's going to be going anywhere for the next maybe 10, 20 minutes. I'm going to link you all the way down to my mate, Steve, who's on a bushwalk, and he's looking for Hosanna, the famous leopard.
So we're really hot on the tail of Hosanna. We did actually find him very briefly, and then he gave us the slip. He was on the move towards Treehouse Dam. So what we've done is we've called Lauren in to come and help us out. Obviously, as much as I want to see him on foot, it's just as important that we actually actively find him. My shoelace is undone, sorry, I've just noticed. So he's here somewhere. He's gone straight towards Treehouse Dam. There was squirrel's alarm calling, but it looks like it might have been a false alarm. So he's here. He's here somewhere. Brings back memories of him sitting on the dam wall with Brent all those years ago. Hey, you mister. At exactly the moment that I saw the daycare and we linked away, Herbie found him. But by the time we got there, he was already moving through this area. So we also want to make sure that if he's feeling a little bit on edge today with the change in weather, because it started raining all of a sudden, that perhaps it might be better to get a vehicle in. I'm just looking where Herbie is. I don't want to box the little guy into a corner with multiple people on foot. Oh no, come on. If that Franklin is alarm calling at him, then this dude, he's moving. That Franklin's alarm calling far from here. Where are you, mister? How many times have I sat at Treehouse Dam and bemoaned the lack of a leopard only to see one? Don't think he's gone to the water's edge itself, because otherwise the Egyptian geese... Good grief! I can hear Lauren making her way in our direction, post-haste. It sounded like something actually... a marula tree went down. Possibly a knobthorn as well. Has she stopped moving, or is she still moving? I can't hear. No, she's, I can see her antenna moving. Oh dear. Now it's moving backwards and forwards. Yes. Oh, it stopped now. Sorry, she just went backwards. Anna Maria says we've got to find Hosanna before the end of drive. We do. He's here. There we go. Here comes Lauren. And Alicia's on the back with Dave. He's whistling. He's got him. Oh no. I can see Herbie there. I just heard a whistle that we generally use it rather than shouting across the bush. You know, it doesn't have quite the same effect as Davey! He's here! Leopard gone. So a nice little whistle, although looking at Herbie's body language, I'm not so sure. Are we going to have lion tracks. I think the monkeys are just having an internal dispute. Lauren has so much... Oh, it's gone now. You got a stick under your car. Bye. I see how it is. I know, we're chopped liver. I only want to hear from Herbie. Huh. Fine. I don't care anyway. I'll just carry on and do my own thing. We're tracking lions. No, we've got to find him before the end of drive, so it's imperative that she focuses on covering more ground than us, because she's going to find him much quicker than we will if he's a bit further away from here. Yeah, we circled the tracks. Hosana's going down towards those pans that he used to spend so much time in as a little cub. Oh, for those of you wondering who Alicia is, she is one of our production staff members, one of our team members, and one of our esteemed colleagues, one might say. Of course, we cannot link to people as esteemed colleagues. And ultimately, she's a friend who works for Wild Earth. So the production team obviously deals with all things directing, producing, cutting together the clips, editing, all of that sort of thing. Ow, get off me. Man. This leopard. It's making my life difficult. And he's walking straight to where Hukumuri likes to hang out. Hukumuri's not there though, don't panic. It's just that he's walking towards the Shubham Junction. Why is he on such a mission? He must be hungry again. Hosana's got a metabolism similar to mine, except he's doing a lot of growing. Oh, my pony bee in my eye. Alright, you've just seen Lauren go past us. Let's send you across to her so that she can tell you her plan of attack.
Yes, I'm really not that far away from Jamie at all, as you've seen. And we are still here, we are still alive, just having absolutely no luck. So we've gone from yesterday, which was a tremendous day with lots of luck, to today really not having that much luck at all. So the lions are, well, did throw me and Steve in complete circles. We just cannot locate them whatsoever. And now Mr. Hosana is throwing us all in circles. I don't know why it's been so difficult this morning, but it is. So we left the lion mission to Steve. He was very much on top of it. And now we are just having a look for Mr. Hosana himself. Now, you know when you're so close to something, you just can't get there, like the carrot in front of the donkey. That's kind of what's happening here. So we're just driving as slow as we can and seeing if we can catch up with him. Now, apparently he's been quite skittish this morning, which, as you know, is not really like Mr. Hosana. And it could potentially be because there is lots of lions around, and there is. Even though we haven't seen them, we know they're around. So that could be one of the reasons that he's not too happy this morning. And, oh, it's starting to rain. Fabulous. Now we really do need some good luck to come to us. So yes, apparently the lions could have potentially have stolen Tungana's kill, which he had. So maybe Tungana's also roaming around not very happy. So I don't think it's a good day for the leopards today. Now we did try to show you a squirrel earlier, but of course Cole's law came into play and the squirrel disappeared. And it was alarm calling. And I wanted to show you it actually making that noise for such a small animal to produce such an incredible noise. Now we hear it a lot, but it's not always the case that we actually see the squirrel making the noise. So the squirrel disappeared and Hosana's disappeared. But an update on the other front, I never ever forget about the hyenas. So as we've been roaming around looking for cats at every potential den site we come across, den sites that have been used in the past, we've been checking them. So I think we checked 2 or 3 this morning near Leadwood, and again, no avail. So it's not that I'm ignoring the hyena dens, trust me, I definitely do want to locate our Juma clan again. It's just that we're not having any luck. It's a big loss for us here not to have the Juma clan. They brought a lot of joy to many people, and the fact that we were able to observe them so often gave us such an insight into their lives and their dynamics, which is why we happen to know so much about the hyenas here. So it's a big loss for many people, especially Jamie and I, that they are not here and they have disappeared. So that's the hyena update. And all other updates, unfortunately, are not that positive, but we still have time, so we still hope that we can get a last-minute glimpse of Hosanna. But for now, let's go up to Isaac.
Okay, things are not always the same way we think. These guys decided to pull their handbrakes and they're all happy, twitching their tails. I don't know what that means, but there's no movement at all. They're in small dazzles. That's a collection of zebras. That was your call, you can see. Those little divisions are little dazzles. They're in small groups, a male and his mares, a male and his mares, a male and his mares. All that's what you see. All the way to the river, all the way. Those are the first few that are very close to the crossing, and you can see even others are starting to lie down. And to the right of that, maybe around 30 meters, 60 feet, is the river. But there's no movement at all. I don't know what they decided, but they all stopped. We're here, and here to my right, these are also, they just appeared from nowhere. They were very fast, heading towards the river. Then all of a sudden the same happened. They stopped. So, I don't know what's gonna happen. It is really hard. My thought is, it is going to happen, but later on in the day. Sometimes the heat pushes them to go towards the river for a drink, and then while they're there, they decide to go across. So, okay, the little guy decided to get a bit of milk before continuing. Yeah, and I think that's what's going to happen. Okay, a bit of milk. Oh, there's a toppy there. Well, I don't know. Sometimes toppies are very good leaders. If it decides to go, we might see this few cross. But let me not say anything. He might decide to stop, but he's actually very determined. You can tell he's walking. He's all by himself. Topi is an antelope found in the Masai Mara and northern Serengeti and very few other parks and national parks in East Africa. One of the fastest and one that does its annual migrations. This is one of the few that get left behind, and they are actually residents. We do find a good number of them here. I don't think he was going towards the crossing. I think he was going for better grazing, and he's telling us that. He's enjoying the fresh shoots, all green, plenty of water. He's so healthy. Yeah, the zebras are still there. That is quite a big dazzle, one male. Arman, you say toppies are awesome? Yes, they are. They are super beautiful, super fast. Everything about them is really good. I love toppies. I think these are two groups. It's a mare and a few, a stallion and a few mares to the right, and another mare and another stallion and a few mares to the left. And I don't know what they're discussing. They're having some issues there. Somebody's not listening. Got chased off. Yeah, you can tell the stallion is the one with his ears folded to the right. He's right behind the young one. Yeah, that one there with a very thick neck. That's sometimes how you can tell between males and females. The one yawning there, that is the male. You can tell the difference between male and females by looking at the neck. The necks of males are much thicker, and females are not as thick. Yeah, the one facing us here now is the main. I would say the one walking to the left. That is the male. Yeah. So here you cannot tell exactly what is being discussed. Maybe they're having a last-minute security check or a security meeting to decide, is it safe or not? Is it better to stay this side on there, or, who's gonna go fast, I don't know what they're discussing. It's interesting with animals, to know what they're doing. But it's really beautiful that, they can sit and maybe discuss, make a decision. Is it better to go or not? The first female to my right over there, you can tell how expectant she is. They carry their young ones for about 12 months. And zebras, surprisingly, is one of those grazers that will be, be pregnant while it's still nursing. So they're always carrying a baby, even though they are nursing. It's one of those animals. So this one is very expectant, maybe 11 months, maybe another 1 month to go. It's going to be very, very heavy by the time it's 12 months. They usually are very big. Yeah, and they are still milling around. I think I'll change locations and leave these guys to decide what they want to do with their life. If they want to go their side or stay this side, and I'll link you back to my colleague down in Juma, Steve.
Welcome back, everybody. We have come back into the area to see if we can maybe find where those lions have come. They came through here and went straight past this pan, and on the other side is Ledwood Road, where they then ended up stealing their kill from Tingana, but I don't know where they've gone. Starting to bother me a little bit. When you track lions, you always want to find them. But we did have a little bit of spitting rain that came down, caused us to get our covers out, but it's now gone away. Lions came straight through here. I followed them earlier and I tracked them straight through, and it took us straight onto the other side, just a little bit south from where the kill was, and then they walked into that block. So Jamie says that she had tracks of the lions around Treehouse Dam, and they were certainly hunting buffalo around there, so it doesn't seem like they caught one. But definitely hungry. They probably would have smelt that impala on the wind, and well, that would have caused them to climb up that tree and cause all those savage marks that we saw. Charles, you want to know if lions eat baboons? They will. They will definitely eat a baboon if they can catch one. Generally, baboons are quite sort of vigilant and protective and aware of lions coming, but doesn't mean that always works. Lions will eat anything. Anything. They are very opportunistic. The fresher the better, but they will eat rotten, decaying food as well. They're in here somewhere, ladies and gentlemen. Somewhere. Just going to go around again. Maybe we'll have luck this time. Yes or no? Tutupol, are we going to find the lions this morning or not? Hashtag SafariLive. Give me some confidence there, everybody. I would like to find them. The block is quite thick and quite dense. And, well, we're dealing with some hungry lions. But I think we'll find them. I've got confidence. They haven't come out of the block. That is something I'm almost 100% sure of. So where could they be but inside? Going to keep driving along and listening. So once they got to the kill site where they took Tingana's food, it became very hard to see where their tracks went. They just kind of came back north again and then mixed with their previous tracks and then just vanished. That's why when lions are hunting, it's very tricky to track because you've got to do concentric circles around that spot until you eventually get the leading tracks as they move away. So I'm going to go back again and see if I can find where those last tracks led me to. But I've got a very strong feeling they're either in this drainage or in the block very close to where they caught or stole the impala. I did double check cheetah cut line. They didn't cross out. and they didn't go down Gowrie Main. But, you know, then also leads to believe that baboon that was shouting, was it for the lions? Or was it for the leopards? Laura Moore, the lions are most certainly lying somewhere around. Are they eating? Have they eaten? It got a little bit cool just now. BK even was thinking, where's my jacket? And then we had a little bit of a spitting rain that came down, and those sort of conditions can quite often facilitate lions getting up and moving. So maybe they'll have moved. The tracks were very fresh. They were very, very fresh. But you do know lions can move quite a big distance in a very short period of time, if need be. But unfortunately, without the tracking expertise of Herbie, I don't know if I'm going to be able to make this one work. Just going to double check one more time that they didn't cross this road into the Battalier block, which is on our left. I did try and check earlier. There are some spots along here that are very, very rocky. And, well, you could easily lose a pride of lions on a piece of ground like that. I mean, similarly, Tundi's tracks have vanished, as well as Tingana. So where have they gotten to after the lions arrived? Maybe they're just up a tree somewhere nearby licking their wounds. Tundi had some wounds. Don't know who from. Tingana, hopefully he escaped unscathed. He is a wily old devil, that one, so no doubt he would have gotten away from any pursuits of the lions. They've learned to live to fight another day, leopards. If a lion comes along and it's going to go up the tree, they'll just move and go somewhere else. So 41% says the lions are going to find me, and 17% says I'll find them. We seem to be missing a few numbers in that percentage, Stefan, if I'm not mistaken. What is the other 30-odd people saying? Okay, one more time down Ledwood Road. Come on, kiddies. The sun is coming out again. Feel how warm that's going to be. Dave and I are almost certain we're going to run this morning, but now the sun's coming out again. Hopefully we can maintain our determination. Okay, keep your eyes peeled, BK. We don't want the lions finding us, we want to find them. We are trying, folks, we really are trying. It's one of those things this time of year when it's so green and thick like this, it's really difficult to, I mean, the ground, first of all, unless they're walking in the road, the tracking can be very tricky. Checking all the little game paths and the sandy sort of patches as we go through. Yeah, kitty, kitty, kitty. What lions do you think they are, everybody? The Unkahumas, who were most certainly in the west, in the north the day before. They were most certainly. Now, did they loop all the way around and come in again on our southern boundary? It's really hard to say. Could it be the sticks making a return to... This is an area that I've had a few sightings with the sticks pride. I haven't seen them in many, many months. Or could be the Torchwood pride, which is just east of us here. Never seen the Torchwood pride that I know of. Anyway, Jamie is still out on foot, still searching. Let's go over to her and see if she's managed to catch up with the little chief.
Well, if Hosana were here, or if he is here, we are going to know about it very shortly. There is an entire troop of baboons making their way towards Treehouse Dam. And if anything's going to give him away, baboons are going to give him away. I'm starting to feel a little bit frustrated, actually, because we were on top of his tracks all morning, and he just keeps giving us the slip. And I think that we're just not going to win with him on foot unless these baboons help us out. They've all stopped to watch us now. They're keeping an eye on us. There's a couple of big males. I heard them earlier when we were making our way down here. So I think he's in the drainage line to the west of Treehouse Dam. Lauren's checking around on the other side on the roads, but it doesn't really help us because he's in that thick stuff. And I think Lauren's absolutely right. I think the smell of the lions and the tracks and everything might have just disconcerted him a little bit, and maybe that's why he's a bit nervous this morning, worried about encountering lions, which is fair enough. He's already had one quite serious encounter, as we know, and he's survived that by the skin of his teeth and with a little bald patch of fur, so I suspect he's going to be very, very wary of lions. So maybe that's why he's so jumpy, because he's definitely jumpy this morning. But these baboons will give him away. And if they keep going to the west, that's exactly what we're going to see. I love looking at baboons. It's very rare that we get the opportunity to see baboons on foot, actually. Is that them gone there, Seb? I mean, you need to move back towards the dam wall. Watching baboons is always entertaining. It's a bit like elephants. There's always one of them that's up to something, being naughty in some way. The big male just swung down off the dead tree. Yeah, he's running now. They've spotted us properly because I got up. Baboons, like all animals out here, are not particularly comfortable with us on foot, particularly when we stand up and approach them. Which, of course, brings us to Lauren's question. Lauren wants to know if baboons ever alarm call at humans. They can if they get a surprise, but mostly no. Ah, there we go. We're off. We're off. Well, they're running straight to where his tracks went, so we'll find out shortly. They can alarm call at humans, but it's very rare. It's quite unlikely that they do that. Leopards, on the other hand, absolutely. So it's really much, much better for us that the baboons are alert to us and that they're scared of us. Because baboons are one animal that lose their fear of humans very quickly. They're intelligent and they come to associate people with food. It's quite a big troop, actually. There must be about 40 of them dashing about. And they...
Let's hope they're not coming from Inga's.
I was just thinking that. Seb says, let's hope they're not coming from Inga's. The baboon troop has a tendency to break into the house that Seb and I live in, along with Tristan and Ali. And they break the doors. Even if we keep everything shut, they have a tendency to pull the sliding doors off the hinges. So for an animal that probably, at the big male probably weighs around about 40 kilograms, 45, they are incredibly powerful. And of course they've got canines the same length as a leopard. Jason, baboons do smell. When they get into the house, they leave behind a horrible smell. They are, of course, omnivores, which means that there's quite a bit of meat in their diet, and they have a tendency... Remember that time they left poos all over our couches? They have a tendency when they're a bit nervous, which they are when they're breaking into somewhere. They know that it's not on. They know it's naughty. And then they defecate everywhere, often on the kitchen counter, on one memorable occasion in my life, in the kettle. On the DSTV decoder, that's satellite TV for those of you that don't know, on the windowsill, on the couch, on the floor, on the stove, in the pot, on the sink, on the fridge, and then sometimes they smear it in their hands, smear it all over the fridge. Baboons, horrible creatures. They're not horrible, they're fascinating, they just can be very difficult. Armand wants to know if they attack humans. They do, if they are habituated. So right now, this troop is not a danger to us, even at Inga's. Although they break in regularly, they're not a danger to us there. They're still scared of humans. But in places like Cape Town, wherever there's a tourist attraction, tourists come and they think, oh, look at the cute baboon, and they give it their food. And that repeats itself until they're actually actively mugging people. As in mugging people. Threatening people, going up to them and stealing their food from them. I've on a few memorable occasions as a child been chased by baboons. It absolutely terrified me. I was quite scared of baboons when I was a kid. They're big, and one bit my cousin once. and she had to have a vast amount of rabies injections as a result, and tetanus and all sorts of other things. So yes, they can attack humans where they're accustomed to people, and then what happens to the baboons is, thanks to the fact that they've been fed, they get shot. They get put down because they're then a danger to people, which is a very sad reality of people who feed wild animals. All right, now I can actually see Lauren searching for Hosanna. We've still had no luck. So while we combine efforts, off you go to Isaac, who is looking at one of my favorite antelope.
Here I am again. I have left the zebras because they decided to leave the river, and I thought the little bit of time that I have to show you of some more beautiful creatures we find in the Mara. This is Topi, and this looks like a little breeding herd over here, and there is a male who's trying to find. See that? Those are males. They're trying to find a hierarchy. See who's the best. And then after that they're going to get all the females. This is what happens, and this all happens when there's too much food. Oh, look at that! Yeah. There's lots of action here. Yeah. I hope you're enjoying this, guys. It's really super. You really get to see this. The raised head and the stamping of the feet is a sign of dominance and showing off, telling everybody, I'm tougher, I'm bigger. What can you do? This is the same animal, we were talking about earlier, and here it looks like a number of males, females, and young ones. These little guys here, they're about 6 months. This is the time when they start getting those dark spots on the flanks. Yeah, and this is the case here. That got a little bit feisty there, and then they left. I think they were actually sizing each other, but they have left here now. The only ones left here are the females with young ones. Yeah, each female on her own, young one, the males have left. You can tell this area has got much shorter grass, and this is the reason why there are many grazers here. They will avoid that long grass that we have all over towards the escarpment here by the river. That's why you're not allowed to go off-road. It's because there's very little grass. If you drove off-road, you'll actually really destroy it. Yeah, there's another male also going, tail raised up, walking with a funny gait. It's like, hey, I'm the boss, I'm the daddy. Yeah, very typical of, dominance display. So that's, it looks like ratting season is coming. Ratting is a mating season, and he's checking out some females. Yeah, he's the daddy, he's the boss, and he wants all the females to himself. Yeah. Toppies are rarely hunted by most predators here in the Mara, and the main reason is they have very good eyesight. Oh, they're two fighting the road. You don't fight in the road, you fight a ring. Yeah. Because the reason is they are very fast, they have keen sense of smell and hearing, and so they are really cornered. Stuff Mart, you ask if male toppies have got larger horns than females. No, they're very similar in size. They're very similar, even in weight, they're almost very much the same. Only a female carrying a young one is slightly heavier than a male, but yeah, about 200 to 250 kilos. This is a girl that has gone through quite a lot. She's lost one horn. I wonder from what. Maybe she was trying to defend herself, and she hit a tree or a rock. That's how they lose their horns, and it will never grow back. It is not a disadvantage to her because she doesn't need horns. If it was a male, it would be a very big disadvantage because it won't be able to find other males for mating rights and a hierarchy in a herd. looks like they're all headed upwards. Animals very much like us feel safe in certain areas, and over here most of them move to higher grass during the day, and then during the night they come to short grass. And the reason is at night in this short grass they can be able to detect predators. During the day there's enough light, they can see everywhere, so they can move where there's long grass to graze. Are cheetah, you asked if they ever hunted by cheetahs. The only time it has been witnessed is where a collision of 4 or 5 male cheetahs went for a fully grown toppy. Otherwise, no, they are too tough. I have seen a cheetah try to go for a young toppy, and the mother turned around and chased the cheetah, nearly killing it. So they are not hunted by cheetah. They are not on their preferred menu. Yeah, there's a noise coming here, you know, we're growling. I don't know if you can hear it. I'll drive towards them because they're a bit of a distance, and hopefully we can get closer to them and we can experience more of their behavior. This looks like a nice big breeding herd. There's lots of young ones, fully grown males. Everybody's here, and they're all happy apart from the males who think, you know, fighting will solve the problem of having all the girls. The ratio is almost, you know, 1-to-1, so there's nothing to fight about, but boys will always be boys. There's always going to be competition, who's tougher, who's going to get all, you know, all the women. It looks like all the females here have got, each one of them has got a young one. Each one has got a young one. And there is quite a lot of stuff here. Over there we have impala, all resting. Looks like it's a harem. One male and another, lots of females, typical with antelopes. Yeah, lots of females resting after a long, hectic night, long, scary night. The nice, beautiful sun, and also visibility being better. They are able to rest and enjoy the morning and go like, phew, oh, that was a night. That is the main guy there, the big boss. He owns all the girls, and he's making his rounds, making sure everything is in order. I would say zebras are very, very rare. Cheetah, you know, impala, yes, but on top of cheetah's menu is mainly Thompson gazelle. But between zebra and impala, I would say impalas are more eaten. But, you know, they will never go for a, cheetah will never go for a zebra. I've never seen, it never happens, they're too big. Looks like he's very interested in that female. Looks like she's coming into season, and this is what he does. He follows her until she gives in. Oh, maybe he's just realized there's another smell. Another one is coming into season. So he'll continue following her like that until she gives in and stops, and then mounting will happen. And he'll continue doing that to a couple of females, maybe 3 or 4 every day. And that's why he gets weak very quickly. His tenure period where he stays with these females can be as short as 2 days, and it can be as long as up to 2 weeks. But depends with the size of the harem, and also how many females are coming into season. Because if there is more than 4 or 5, that it means he'll get weaker quicker, because he spends lots of time mating, chasing other males away, and gathering them together. So he wastes a lot of time and a lot of energy. He gets weak very quickly. Jason, you ask if is it mating season for impalas in the Mara. I would say it looks like it because I've seen a lot of males mating recently. And I think this is because there is lots of food around. There's plenty of grass. So the females have come into estrus. So I think that's the main reason that they've come into season. I think that's, sorry, so the vehicle just, they're going for breakfast. Yeah, he's checking one of the females to make sure, you know, she's ready for mating. That's phlegm testing or grimacing. That's using the Jacobson's organ, which is situated on the upper part of the nasal passage, sends a chemical to the brain to tell it if the female is coming into season. And if it is, then he is onto that female immediately. Look, see that one? He just checked that one and it looks like he's changed his mind. The other one is not as yet. Maybe that one is ready. Okay, maybe I leave that one and start to check another one. He's not been lucky, this guy. Poor guy. This is a problem of having too many women. Okay, well, this guy struggles to find a mate. I'll link you down to South Africa in Juma, where Steve has got some lions.
Welcome back to South Africa, everybody. I am very happy with myself now for finally managing to track down the Nkuhuma Pride. And, well, they are in the block as suggested. And after stealing the kill from Tingana, they crossed Ledwood Road again and went back sort of in towards the drainage line between Mamba Loop and Ledwood itself. And, well, here they are lying very, very flat. And I'm so excited that we were finally able to track them down. But they're not far at all from where I originally tracked their tracks. But as I suggested with the hunting, they moved back again across the road, probably after they stole the kill. They were still trying to hunt something. But there we go. You can tell the back left hip of that female. That is one of the old lioness of the Nkuhuma Pride. It's a very telltale sign that gives away who they are. You see the flies landing on it there. Remember, that used to be an enormously crazy wound, and it is much nicer now. Okay, well, I'm just going to move up just a touch over here, BK, just to get into the open, see if we can actually see, sorry about that, if we can see how many lions are sitting here. I'm just going to pop my nose a little bit behind this bush here and then turn left hand down. Oh, there we go. There's more over there. Okay, so it's probably the whole pride. Now, I'm just going to try and count. How's that, BK? Okay, so we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Okay, well, I can count 10. I can count 10. There's not, there should be 12. I'm trying to see if I can pick out the male, the Telemati male I haven't seen before. There's one. Here's the young Nkuhuma Pride male just here on the right, BK. He's having a little look at me. There he is. He's the Nkuhuma Pride male, the youngster. He's sporting a fresh new scar on his top lip there, it seems. Hello, boy. Well, we're so happy to have found you this morning. You did give us a run around, didn't you? And obviously you were exactly where we thought you would be, in the thickets. Romit, why would I lie? Does it look like they found me? They are lying down flat. This is the only one. The one male we were looking at before is the only one who had his head up. But thankfully, I found another track and decided to poke my nose in there, and we found them. So it's one of those gut feelings that you get when you're like, it must be in here. And indeed, they were. So very, very happy with myself this morning. Definitely going to be a glass of apple juice this evening in celebration. I tell you, folks, there's something about it when you track lions for the first time and you find them. and then again successively when you track them, especially when they give you a runaround like these guys did this morning. I think maybe on bushwalk it might have been a little bit easier, walking through the thickets with the rifle. When you're on your own without a rifle, you have to be very careful. You can't really go wandering off into the wilderness on your own. So I do poke my head in every now and again, but you can't just go wandering. Although the Nkuhumas are generally quite a relaxed pride on foot, it is always a very, very nice feeling to be able to find them. I always pride myself in finding them, and I get very disappointed if I put in a lot of effort and I can't find them. It definitely does start to grate me a little bit, but we didn't give up. We came back and gave it one more go, and here they are. So BK, have a look at this boy's front foot there. Now, that is a magnificent paw, isn't it? Look at those feet. I just love them. Love male lion paws. You can see how wide the toes are splayed compared to the back pad. On the pad you can see. It's a good indication of a male lion track when you're looking at them. What can you smell there, guys? He's smelling something on the wind. Are you smelling me? You're probably smelling the giraffe you missed earlier. Well, everybody, what a fantastic morning it's been. It's been pretty quiet, but we've managed to track down and find the lions. I was really looking forward to a Tingana and Tundi interaction in the tree this morning, but that didn't happen. But it's been a marvellous morning nonetheless. The Nkuhuma Pride is here on the property. Hopefully they'll be here for this afternoon's game drive and rehearsal. But for all of you who joined us this morning with your comments and feedback, thank you very much to all of the team on the ground, the Mara and FC in Joburg. Thank you, Bushwalk team. And we'll see you all again this afternoon. Have a beautiful day.